Hello. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Wanted to start something new today. Gonna work on this adorable hot cocoa sign for the interchangeable standing and hanging sign frame. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm not gonna make this look rustic or antique or anything like that. I'm just gonna do my basic painting and we'll see how it goes. I think I want the background to be like a light gray. So I'm going to use a color called Gray Sky. I know my cup of hot cocoa is going to be, I want to make it a blue and make my lettering a red. So that's kind of what I'm after. I'm not going to worry about any of the score lines because everything I have here is something that you glue on. And it is another hot one today. This might actually be a little bit darker than what I wanted. But I'm going to keep going. I might have to switch to another gray. We'll see. Because paint always dries a lot darker than when it goes on, so. And my allergies are acting up today. Yeah, this is a lot darker than what I wanted. It always looks light in the bottle, but when you put it on, it's a totally different story. And I can't find the gray that I always use. Hi, Lori. I know you're gone already. Oh, that's right. I forgot you work today. Well, at least you're in somewhere that's cool. So, if you happen to catch yesterday's live painting tutorial, I absolutely love that sleigh. Love it, love it, love it. And I want to figure out how else I can use it. I love the colors. I love the old rustic look that it has. It's just my style of designs and decor. And it's now available on Etsy as either an SVG, a DIY, or if you want me to paint it for you, I'll be more than happy to do that as well. Yeah, that's way darker than what I wanted. So the color I used was Gray Sky. I'm gonna switch to a color called Sand Gray. And hopefully it calms down. probably have to put a couple coats on because I did this dark color underneath. But if you're into primitive farmhouse, rustic decor, these sign inserts are just absolutely adorable, and they are going to be perfect for your home. They're usually quick, easy paints. They're great for beginners if you're just getting into decorative style painting, tool painting. They're great for beginners. They're going to be, if you do painting parties, if you host those, they would be excellent for painting parties. They're quick paints. They're just good for anybody, any type of experience. And honestly, they're going to be really good sellers at craft shows. I know there has been a lot of interest around in my area for these. And I've been busy selling these locally. So people are really loving them. Heck, this might be a whole bottle at the rate I'm going. This humidity, the way it is today, it makes paint drying even worse. It is just so humid. It's cooler, but it's still very, very humid. And I probably will go around and shade the outside edges of this just to give it a different type of look. I just hope I have enough of this paint. Because I did not look before I started. Oh, my sinuses, wow. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna have enough. Even if I was to roll it on, it wouldn't matter because even though you roll it on, it still takes a lot of paint. Okay, let me let that dry real quick. I'm gonna go downstairs and see if I can find another bottle. So I'm gonna have to make do with what I have and order some more of this. So the color I switched to was sand gray. I went from gray sky to sand gray. I absolutely love this color. It looks a lot darker on the screen, but it's not that bad. Still looks a little blotchy. This is gonna be my last coat no matter what. Alright, I need to let that dry pretty good. And then I am going to probably lightly sand it. Alright. I want to paint this lettering red. And I'll probably do a little bit of shading on it just to bring a different color in. Like to the bottom. But my go-to color is country red. And I didn't do my sticky board. So this red will look nice on that gray background. Ohio State Buckeye colors. You know, red and gray go together really well. And I know that I want this lettering to be Williamsburg blue, and I'm kind of thinking they retired this color. I could be wrong though, but I'm kind of thinking they did. Which is a shame because I use it a lot. Especially for winter stuff. And I'll be using this. I have a snowman sign insert, and this will be my background color. So it's a perfect color for winter projects. And I'm going to be painting my mug the same color as well. I think a blue mug with a snowflake on it is a good choice. My bird is very talkative today. More so than normal. And I'll probably do a little highlighting on these letters at the top with either a winter blue or a blue chiffon. I'll dry brush it on. Just to give it, make it look a little cooler or colder. See, that's just going to be a really good choice off of there. I think that's going to look nice. So I'm going to sand this lightly. Just to knock off those high spots. Just to kind of give you an idea. I don't know how I'm feeling about that gray now. Huh. I don't know how I'm feeling about that. I'm feeling as though it just doesn't go. It's not giving me the look I want. Not giving me the look I want. Well, when in doubt, I always have an idea of the look I'm going for, but this just isn't giving it to me. So, I'm going to paint this antique white and pray to God I can get good coverage quickly. because that gray isn't cutting it. And that's too bad because that's one of my favorite grays. I just don't feel like the blue pops off of there the way I'm hoping it would. Just not giving me the look I'm after. Because I want a kind of country feel. And to me, gray is more of a modern color. So I've made 3 color changes. So don't be afraid, you know, if you're painting and, you know, I don't know how other people are, but I know me, I kind of have a vision prior to starting painting. I know what I want it to look like. I know the look I'm after. So if I'm not achieving it, you know, don't be afraid to change. Put a different color on, you know. Yeah, you're gonna waste paint. Yeah, it's gonna take more time. But, you know, if you know what you're after, don't settle for something because you just don't want to go back and repaint it. And I'm putting this paint on thick. It's gonna take a month to dry. I'm not one to put paint on really, really thick. But I know by changing this color, I'm gonna end up achieving what I'm after. So let me apologize for anyone that will watch this video after the fact. I apologize for me changing my mind and making you sit through here, through me trying to figure out what I'm doing. Okay. That needs to dry pretty darn good. All right. So let's do a little highlighting and shading on this. The color I'm going to use is Winter Blue to do a little highlighting. Oh, that is not good. It's going to be a shorter day. Try it again. I know yesterday it was kind of tough to do a little bit of shading and highlighting. Because it was just so darn humid. And unfortunately, I'm going to have the same problem today. Which, if this continues, I might have to think about doing this another day. Because if the elements aren't right, you're going to struggle. And right now, the struggle's for real. Might have to stick with dry brushing. That might be what I have to do. Because the struggle is real. I'm going to use Payne's Gray. I don't even think this is available anymore. To shade. And this is a pretty dark color, so be careful. If you choose to use this color. I know I want that shading to be pretty dark. And I'm going to go around where these marshmallows are going to be. So I use my little cheater. And we're going to have a snowflake that we put on this as well. I'm just trying to get a little shadow down there. Alright. Let's see if I can get a little bit of dry brushing. On the tops of these letters, I just want it pretty light and small. Alright. Okay. I just can't get over how hot it is. Holy smokes. Wow. But you see, by changing that color, I just think that looks a whole lot better on this brown. I need to go down further for that shading. But I just think it pops off there better. It's gonna give me the look that I'm after. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm actually going to dry brush shading. See if that covers it up now. Just to give it more of a gradient look. All right, good enough. All right. I'm going to empty my water and I will be back shortly. I need to, let me do some more on this red. Because I'm going to have to dry brush these as well. Definitely need another coat. And plenty of time to dry because of this humidity. And this paint is drying fast and it has the consistency of pudding, which is not good. And when I come back, I'm sticking a piece of tape over this area, because this is crazy to fuss like this. Just making my day more difficult. Okay. All right, let those dry really good, and I will be back shortly. Hopefully you stick around. think I'm going to shade around this with some cocoa. Just to add a little bit of different color and a little bit of interest. And hopefully I'm able to float, because this is difficult today with this humidity. So start off with the short sides. And I just don't see it getting better anytime soon. I know I want my float a little bit wider than that, so. And that's way too much water. Get yourself a mop brush to help get rid of water lines when you put too much water on your brush like I do, and don't get it off. It is a terrible habit I have. I'm gonna let that dry really good. And go back and do the other sides, and that is going to be a challenge today, unfortunately. So while that's trying to dry, I'm going to paint these marshmallows. And my snowflake. And those marshmallows are going to be multiple layers to give it a little bit more dimension and 3D look. piece of tape. Just to hold that down a little bit better. It's an easy fix, but it's not really the correct type of fix. And what I like to do when I know I'm going to be, I'm just doing like shading on the bottom or the top, I try and get my letters lined up straight across so I can keep my shading and highlighting pretty even. That's just kind of what works for me. And hopefully these letters are gonna stayed adhered. And while I'm at it, I might as well paint that straw. Because what I think, you know, when it comes to stripes, I just think it's best to paint the whole darn thing and then go back and paint the stripe on. Just my opinion. That's how I do it. And I just feel that it works out better. So this paint is already drying. That's terrible. This is not a fun experience today. Painting is supposed to be relaxing. It's not relaxing today. What I like to do is I kind of like to just pat when I'm doing a long area like I'm doing now. pat it on just to get the color on, and then I just take my brush and do a long swoop. Because what I feel that does is it just kind of blends the paint better. I'm just bouncing all over the place today. Try one more coat on this other side, and it's gonna have to be good. I apologize if I'm off camera, but the struggle is real today with this humidity. It is not good. Like I said, it's not really, this is not an enjoyable painting experience today. Okay, I know I'm gonna use light buttermilk to do my whipped cream. I'm not gonna do the white like I did on the straw. And I think I'm just gonna put this on with a brush. I personally prefer light buttermilk over white any day. I use it as my white more so than the white. It's just more, it's not as bold and in your face. I feel like the white is. I'll have to go back and clean out those score lines. And clean off my edges. It's just a more calming color, I feel. And the highlighting color for this light buttermilk is the white, but honestly, you can't really see it. It takes a lot of layers of white to see any type of highlighting. And part of me kind of wants to, I think I'm going to paint the snowflake in the marshmallows this color. Just so it blends better. I don't know, we'll see here. Yep, I think I'm going to. I'll just calm that white down a little bit. Won't be so much in your face. I'm having a day today. And I'll just take those score lines out here in a few. Let's see if I can sponge most of this on. I'm going to use that sand gray to shade this white part behind the whipped cream. And I'm doing that now so it can dry. I'm just trying to basically change that little white spot into like a shadow. Then I'll go back and paint the red stripes. And I think I'll take a little bit of antique white and shade right above that brim. And I'm going to use that to shade around these marshmallows as well. Just use a really tiny brush. And I think I'm just going to go around where those score lines are. Just to add a little bit of color, I'm going to have to go back because it's not as dark as what I would like, but just trying to add a little bit of color and separate the sides from the top of the marshmallow. And I might, once I glue it on, I might do a little bit more shading again. It's hard to say, but I'll just wait for now. And while I'm at it, I just want a pretty fine line underneath these score lines. Just to add a little bit more color. And like I said, I don't think it would take several coats of the white, but I'll try it. See if I can do a little bit of highlighting. I'm just gonna highlight around like where those curves are, just to try and brighten it up a little bit. I can see it, but you probably can't see it on the screen. It's pretty minimal. But it's noticeable. See if I have enough red still to paint these stripes. This red's in bad shape. Okay, good enough. All right. Let's see about taking some black plum and dry brushing some of this lettering. That was way too much paint. I just want this pretty minimal, so I'm just barely touching the surface, and I'm really trying to get my paint out of my brush. And I kind of, when I'm doing this type of shading on my lettering, I kind of like to go like a third of the lettering. That's what I try and do. I just think that's a good amount. Hopefully you can see. I like to hold this up towards me when I'm doing this type of work, especially when it comes to dry brushing. I like to see exactly how and where my paint is going. Alright, good enough. And I think I'm going to try and take a liner brush and throw a little bit of this black plum on these stripes as well. I just put it at the bottom of the stripe. I don't even know if you guys can see it or not. Alright. I don't even know if I want to attempt to glue this live. Because it is just too hot. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just set this out here so you guys can see what it looks like. And I will glue this at another time and post a photo. But I'm absolutely loving this sign. If it wasn't so darn hot, I'd probably have a cup of hot cocoa. But I love this. This definitely would be a good sign to display in your kitchen. It would look really good with some gingerbread, shelf sitters. It's just really, really adorable. I love the colors. I'm glad I went with the light buttermilk. I think that's a better choice than the white. Like I said, this is multi-layers on the marshmallows. I really love this. And I think just by adding these blue letters down at the bottom, just brings that blue color down from the mug and is a perfect color combination. there it is. I absolutely love this. I'm glad I changed the background because this is definitely a better color combination for sure. You could add some snowflakes. I might include some snowflakes, extra snowflakes with this file, just so you could put them on there. But I just absolutely love this. It's just the perfect color combination. It's exactly what I was after. Exactly. So, all right. Like I said, I'm going to glue this offline. And I definitely will post a picture of this. I don't think I'll get the listing up today. But I'll definitely get it up during the sale. So, all right. Well, and I want to apologize for all my indecisiveness. That's just how I am. I'm a very meticulous painter. I know what I want. I know the look I'm after. And if I have to repaint, I'm going to do that just so I get the look that I'm after. And this is exactly what I was after. I wanted this type of look. So I'm quite pleased, very pleased with the outcome of this. So I will be on next weekend, even on the 4th of July. I'm off that day. I've got, boy, I still got tons of things to paint. And some new designs that I'm working on as well that I need to cut. So I will definitely be on next weekend painting. So hopefully you'll join me. So until next time, take care. Bye-bye.